What is that one thing that you did great?
What have I done great? Nothing.
I think now you're just being modest.
So to me, he was a father. It wasn't RP Goenka that I was dealing with. I was dealing with my father. I was always in awe of him. There was a lot of comparison at home, and I thought that was very unfair. I'm not a great proponent of joint family businesses. Joint family emotions, yes. Joint family businesses, no.
There was a lot of buzz in media about RPSG looking to acquire Dharma. What happened in that? CSE was a good acquisition at that point of time. Has the times changed?
If I had to take the same decision, I wouldn't have bought it.
You wouldn't have bought CSE.
No.
What role can you really play in order to ensure IPL trophy?
It's up to the coach, mentor, captain and the team to deliver. So you see the mind of somebody like MS Dhoni, Rohit Sharma. So it's about how you are able to be an effective leader.
You have grown your market cap from 4,000 to 85,000 crores in the last 12 years.
To me, turnover was the least relevant. It was efficiency and margins. We spent several years in just getting our efficiencies right. And then margins started automatically flowing. You may be passionate about a business that you buy, but you don't buy it because you're passionate about it.
Hello and welcome to Perspectiv with Parthiv. This is a conversational series where we explore ideas, values, and turning points behind the big minds shaping India's business landscape. We have someone that runs the largest conglomerate out of East India, someone that has business in power, energy, media, sports, IT-enabled services, and many more with a total market cap of 85,000 crores. I'm very excited to have him on my show, and let's go and get his perspective. Welcome with Perspectiv with Parthiv. Thank you, Dr. Sanjiv Goenka, for being part of this show. Your family has had a legacy of about 200 years. Can you take us back to your childhood and maybe some aspects that were key in your childhood that shaped you as a leader?
Well, first of all, thank you, Parthiv, for having me. It's very difficult for me to say no to you. So I'm very happy that you invited me. My childhood, it was regimented. We were 8 cousins growing up in a joint family. We had like a hostel kind of an existence. So you had to wake up at 5:36 and then be at your study desk at 6:30. It didn't matter whether you studied or not. You had to be sitting at your desk. And at 8:15, you went to meet the elders in the family. At 8:30, you left for school. You came back at 3:30. And from 4, then you had 2 slices of toast and a cup of milk. And then you had somebody who would make you play in the garden, cricket, football, hockey, badminton, whatever. And then you had tuition from 5 to 7. Then you had to have a bath. And
But this was your life every day?
Every day.
But do you think this was different from the others around you, or was that generally how most, I guess,
we weren't
were
exposed
brought
to
up?
anyone else. We weren't allowed to go out.
So what do you think was the idea behind having such a regimented life?
Honestly, I've never understood it.
Okay.
It's just that I never had the courage to speak out. Frankly, none of us had. But I think what it did was it got you to accept a certain discipline, and that also the fact that you have to make effort. So you had to study. They expected you to do well, the elders in the family.
So was there like a reward mechanism for, performing well or something like that?
Yes, there was.
Okay.
So amongst the 8, whoever did the best at the end of each semester was given a pencil box.
So you were always competing with each other in education?
Yeah, it was actually, there was a lot of comparison at home between the kids. And I thought that was very unfair, because in any comparison, there is somebody who's better and somebody who's worse. And it also inculcates a sense of sibling rivalry, which is beyond competitiveness. When it happens every day, there is an unspoken rivalry that happens.
But this killer instinct or the competitive spirit, is it important in business?
I think a killer instinct, I wouldn't necessarily say is necessary. But a competitive spirit and a desire to win, a desire to compete is definitely desirable. And more importantly, in today's world, it is about how you innovate,
Yeah.
how you stay ahead of the curve. Uh, and I think that's become even more important. And if you get those basics right, then you automatically start leading the race.
Now, fast forward a little bit from your childhood to the early 80s, when you were right out of college, getting into business. Mr. RP Goenka was on a spree of acquiring one of the biggest companies that today exists: CSC, KEC, RPG Life Sciences, CET, Spencer, Saregama, everything. One of the largest portfolio companies for you and your brother both today were acquired in the early 80s. How did you look at that when you were entering the business? What were your challenges, being exploring so many of these acquired companies at that point of time?
So, a slight correction: CSC was not acquired by him, it was acquired by me, and he was opposed to it. He was so angry. He didn't, his form of anger was he would not eat. So, he didn't eat for 2 days.
He didn't eat for 2
He
days.
didn't eat for 2 days. And he says, ये क्या बेवकूफ़ी की चीज़ कर रहे हो, लोगों की हाय लगेगी, इतना बिजली जाता है, 12 घंटा दिन में बिजली जाता है, तो जहाँ भी जाओगे लोग बोलेंगे इसके कारण बिजली जा रही है. I was stupid, young, naive. So I went and cried in front of my mother and I said, see, he's not letting me do what I want to do. So whatever my mother told him, she convinced him. So he very reluctantly, sulkingly agreed. But thereafter, I think, yes, it took some time, but it was a good acquisition at that point in time. And I must say, my first day, and I've said this before, it was a horrific experience walking
Yes.
into the CSC office on the first day.
You mentioned that CSE was a good acquisition at that point of time. Has the times changed for that kind of an industry?
Well, times are much better for that kind of an industry. So I was young, naive, as I said earlier, and therefore I didn't realize the complications or the problems that I was getting involved with. With this experience of working for so many years behind me, if I had to take the same decision, I wouldn't have bought it.
You wouldn't have bought CSE.
No.
But it has generated immense profits for you in the...
It hasn't. The power business has. CSC has not.
Okay.
So CSC has generated profits, but not immense profits. And what we've invested back in the city in terms of infrastructure has been a lot more than the money that we've got from it.
Mr. RP Goenka is a name that I think the Indian industry bows down to, and someone that has done phenomenal work to not only build Indian enterprise but also contribute to national policy and also to the agenda of bringing India to a very strong economy as it is today. When you were working, did you ever feel overshadowed by his personality?
So to me, he was a father. It wasn't RP Goenka that I was dealing with. I was dealing with my father. I was always in awe of him. And he had a tough side to him, and he had a very affectionate side to him. He was the ultimate decision maker. So, I mean, everything had to be decided by him.
Is there a particular moment that you remember when, the overarching shadow of Mr. RP Goenka, the identity of Mr. RP Goenka was also supplemented with the identity of Mr. Sanjiv Goenka?
The first time I felt I could have an identity of my own was when I became CII president.
That was in 2001.
And that was the first time I felt that that's possible. I think that 1 year definitely helped me a lot to grow in exposure, in confidence, in connectivity, hearing perspectives which are way more experienced, brighter, and so it grew me as a person, it grew me as a businessman. It was very helpful. I think
So that was one of the key moments where you felt that there was a lot more independent recognition associated with your name directly.
I think so.
But when you look at the journey before the split and after, while it was a very amicable split, were the companies decided based on what each of you were operating, or was there a different philosophy on how the businesses were divided between the two brothers?
So I truly don't know what went on in Dad's mind. He and Mr. Pinto Khaitan did it. One fine day we were told this is what it is.
So you were informed that
We
this
were
is
informed.
this is what you're running and this is what you're running.
Yeah, and Dad was very, very strong. So you couldn't really argue with him.
Was this like an ask from both of you all that we want our businesses separate, or was it something that he envisaged would be better for both of you all in the future?
Honestly, I think he decided. And so 2 days before his 80th birthday, he did it. How long he worked at it, we have no idea. But he obviously would have done a lot of work on it.
Speaking about post separation, you have grown your market cap from 4,000 to 85,000 crores in the last 12 years. That is one of the greatest stories, I think, in Indian business history. What were the key defining moments, apart from you having independence and autonomy over all the decisions? Was there something that helped you achieve this kind of growth?
Frankly, I don't think it's that great. It's been decent, but I think it could have been better. But having said that, I think it was getting away from government intervention intensive businesses to consumer facing businesses, into tech related businesses, which made a difference. I took a call that as a family in the past, we always looked at turnover. To me, turnover was the least relevant. It was efficiency and margins which became the defining feature for us. And so we spent several years in just getting our efficiencies right. And then margins started automatically flowing. And when you have cash flows, growth automatically comes. Taking over First Source was a big move. 400 crores to 25,000 crores is a good growth. Getting into sport was another big move, which has again paid very handsome dividends. So I think overall, it was something that worked out well. And these decisions were unconventional. So having the liberty or the freedom to make those decisions helped because you're quicker. And Shashwat being around was a very big help because
It was right around that time he came back from college as well.
He came back from college, and he was a very big help as well.
Did you always believe that your target or goal was to be a $10 billion enterprise? Has that changed? Is that still moving?
It moves every day. Given that the family historically has been in jute, textiles, tea, all sunset industries. Sorry, no reflection on anyone, but and it's very limited by the total size of the industry per se. But this is what Narendra Modi has done. He has redefined scale, ambition, the positioning of India and Indians in the world. He has given each one of us, I think, this confidence that we can do it and we must do it. So it's about actually getting out there and doing it.
So what is your next target, having achieved this? How big are you looking really?
I don't think I've really achieved much.
Why do you say so? And you've said this a couple of times, yet you have...
I'm not a modest person temperamentally, right? So I'm not trying to be modest when I say this. But I think frankly, if you see, hopefully, you will see over the next few years a lot more at RPSG than you've seen in the past.
You spoke about that autonomy of business. So is there any structure because there would be a lot of people running businesses in a joint family setup with multiple brothers, uncles. Do you think it's advisable, or is there a way to work around those nuances to ensure maximum efficiency and productivity of your organization, or it's better to do it in your own way?
I mean, I'm not a great proponent of joint family businesses. Joint family emotions, yes. Joint family businesses, no.
You and your brother, since the split, have grown your businesses. You have acquired so many companies, but there does not seem to be an overlap of industry necessarily between you and him. Is that been a conscious choice?
Well, there's enough to grow, and why would you compete with each other when you don't need to?
So you're saying it's a conscious choice to not enter those sectors, or those are sectors that you're not fundamentally interested in as well?
No, no, no. I think both of us have taken the choice that we will not get into the same sectors.
Okay. So when you're looking at new sectors, particularly in the last 5-7 years, there has been a conscious effort to obviously be outside the regulated space, but also there seems to be a conscious effort towards being in businesses that have a stronger limelight and more public front or more consumer front businesses. Has that also been something which has been a conscious choice compared to your traditional chemicals and power energy sectors?
No, to get into consumer facing businesses was a very clear choice. Uh, and it's something that's done well for us. But these things come with a lot of accountability and a lot of responsibility. So, for example, the FMCG space, people are consuming what you're producing. So you have to be even more particular about the quality of what you produce. And there is a moral responsibility, for sure, in addition to the actual responsibility of making sure that every batch is produced perfectly.
In your experience, is acquiring company a much better way of growing enterprise versus starting? Because historically, with your father, with you, the acquisitions that you've made, including a very recent one, shows the kind of aggression that you look at when as a methodology towards expanding your business.
I think both. An acquisition gives you a head start, but it also requires more capital upfront. A greenfield needs the capital over a period of 12 months or 18 months. So we followed both.
One of the metrics that the recent public markets have seen is a lot of drive towards achieving higher market cap, where profitability is important but not the only factor that is being considered. Has that also influenced your business decision?
No, we are still looking at bottom line orientation.
Across all businesses?
Yeah, excepting the FMCG, where we knew that the first 5 to 7 years we'll make losses.
Yeah.
And beyond that, we may land up making losses in some businesses, but that was certainly not the intent.
One of the key acquisitions that you have made has been FirstSource, particularly post your separation with your brother in terms of business. How has that investment yielded for you, and what does it stand today, and how do you look at it going forward?
As I said, 400 crores has become 25,000 crores. So that's not bad at all. But now the next thing is, how do we make the 25,000 crores multiply over the next 3 to 5 years? We have plans of trebling our profits over the next 4 years. We're working towards it, and so far it seems on track.
Do you remember at what price did you buy it at and where it stands today?
It's been a journey.
It's been a long, fruitful journey.
It's been a good journey.
And is that one of the key sectors that you're focusing on towards your next phase of growth?
I think we are actually growing all our businesses. So renewable is going to be a very big area of growth. So the plan is over the next 5 to 6 years to set up 10 gigawatts of renewable capacity. There is a lot more on that front happening as well. We're growing our chemicals business aggressively. We are growing our IT business aggressively. We are growing our FMCG business aggressively. So right now we are looking at growing across all our vectors. Even the music business, I think, will grow significantly. So hopefully you'll see a different RPSG in the next 3 to 4 years.
In your journey of recent acquisitions, you have made bets on sports, on media, on entertainment. Is there a passion that plays a significant role towards deciding which company or industry to invest in, or is it just pure math?
You know, you have to be passionate about all your businesses if you want to succeed in those businesses, right? But you don't buy a business because you're passionate about it. You may be passionate about a business that you buy,
Yeah.
but you don't buy it because you're passionate about it.
If you had to make an acquisition, unlimited budget, what would it be and why?
Whew, haven't thought of that. Netflix,
Netflix?
Nvidia,
Netflix, why?
content,
Content.
distribution. I don't think about necessarily about influence, but impact. I think how can you help people in their lives on a day-to-day basis? How many people today are consuming Netflix, Prime, any of the OTT platforms? And it's about how people engage with you. So I think that identification of people with that brand and how you are sort of not influencing but impacting them on a day-to-day basis.
That's a very interesting perspective. One of the things that I also want to talk about is maybe one of the transactions that might have not gone through. There was a lot of buzz in media about RPSG looking to acquire Dharma. And as we know, that transaction did not conclude with RPSG. It happened with Adar Poonawalla. What happened in that? And is the entertainment industry or the movie industry something that you're still very excited about?
I am. Karan's a very dear friend, continues to be. I think our lawyers and our corporate team put a drag and tag clause, and that, as he said, spooked him. And I wasn't aware that these clauses, A, were there, and B, that they had spooked him. If I had known, I would have just removed them. And that was the reason the deal eventually didn't happen.
So you were that close.
Yes, yes.
Are you looking at similar transactions? Maybe start your own movie business? But movie is something that you definitely want to get into.
We've produced 26 movies which are on Netflix, Prime, Hotstar.
Under Saregama.
Under Saregama, there's a brand called Udly, which is a subsidiary of Saregama.
But you want to now get into production and distribution in a much larger way. Is that something that you're very excited about?
It's a business that's not done as well over the last couple of years as in the past. But I do believe it's content and IP are very important businesses. So if you have content and if you own the IP to that content, there will be more and more avenues of monetization as technology progresses.
Do you think it's easy to run a movie business without the creative equity in it? Or is it just another business for you?
You can treat it as another business.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you need the creative people to make a success of it.
Because currently most production houses are owned and operated by producers, directors, writers, the ones that have been more involved in the process of filmmaking versus running it independently or solely as a business.
But Maddock has got taken over by Geo.
Yeah.
You will see more maybe as we go along.
I want to talk about a very recent and exciting acquisition that you've made. Entry into the fashion industry with a stake in Falguni Shane Peacock. What is the thought process behind entering the fashion sector, which is dominated by Aditya Birla Group with the Reliance Group? How do you see this playing out for you?
They are like giants. So we've just made a very small entry into the space. It's a space that's growing. And Falguni and Shane Peacock is a brand, one of the few brands from India that's internationalized and done a very good job of going global. They have a unique and a distinct identity of their own. I haven't met them, but my team tells me, and Shashwat Shivika, part of that team, they say that they're very excited about the way they approach their business. And it's about actually trying to see if you can have a portfolio rather than just one brand. But you have to do it in a manner where you can focus and do justice to that one brand that you've acquired first. And so for a period of time, may not be others, but over a period, possibly.
There have been a huge number of acquisitions in this luxury fashion segment in the last few years. What is the trend that most people are missing? There are some that are still not part of this larger portfolio of fashion retail or high luxury fashion. What is that trend that can allow the Indian high quality designers to become a more internationally acceptable brand?
Luxury, or the concept of luxury, or the concept of spending on luxury has changed. Uh, I think post-COVID, it's undergone an even greater change where people want to experience a good life. Uh, and experiences are very much a part of it. So whether it's the hospitality or tourism industry, or whether it's consuming luxury goods, and it's also aspirational. So I think the market is huge, not only in India but across the world.
But this particular bet is very specific to the Indian consumer market, or are you looking at a global market for this
No, well,
kind of a product?
Falguni and Shane Peacock have a huge store in New York,
Yeah,
and that's a store which does extremely well.
as part of the RPSG Group. You have 55,000 employees and a lot more with the acquisitions that you're making. What is that cultural philosophy that you are able to transit from one company to the other and control it from your corporate office?
A large part of these systems were actually put in place by my brother.
Okay.
And so most of it is what was set in motion by him.
Like in what sense? Like what?
The whole corporate philosophy, the whole HR philosophy, the commonality of reporting, MIS, was all done by him.
Wow.
And we've tweaked it,
Yeah.
but the base fabric remains the same.
You've often said that 80% of the job is to hire the right people for the right job. And running such a diverse portfolio of companies, that is very, very important. What is that key attribute that you look at when hiring leaders, that would ensure that your vision is ultimately realized?
It's about identifying those 2, 3, 4 attributes that are required for that particular assignment. And what is relevant over the immediate term and the medium term. And if you get those attributes right, the search process becomes that much simpler. And therefore, the chances that you will succeed are that much higher.
So it's very specific to the job required at that point of time.
Absolutely. In our experience, we found that we've had people who've continued in the same company for 10, 12 years, longer, 15 years. But after a certain period in time, they tend to become a little complacent. And they tend to take things for granted. The fire goes down. And therefore, at some time, I was not a big advocate of it, but I think I'm getting somewhat converted, that some kind of a job rotation may actually help.
Now, I want to touch a little bit upon sports. It's one of your most popular businesses, if not the largest. You have built a sports franchise, starting with ISL, with the football team, getting into IPL, now having 2 international teams out of South Africa and England. Why are you betting so big on sports?
I just think that the future for sports is great. Look at the broadcast values. Look at NBL. IPL is already the second most valued sport or tournament in the world. And the way Jay Shah is leading cricket and international cricket, there's only one way it'll go, and that is up. I mean, the more you interact with Jay, the more impressed you are with his intellect, with his drive, with his vision, with his clarity of thought. And as long as he's in charge of cricket, I think cricket is in very safe hands.
Is cricket the mainstay of sports that you're looking at as part of your portfolio, or are there other opportunities that you're also exploring?
Cricket is overwhelmingly the mainstay.
How do you see the sports franchises or the business of sports unlocking value for the RPSG group? Is it more of a valuation game that you hope to unlock, or is it a wealth creator that you hope to carry and own for a very long time?
We certainly want to own it for the longest period possible. It's been a very good value creator for us. In a short period, it's done very well for us. And as we get into the next broadcast cycle and the next and the next, the values will only multiply. So it's been very good for us. I think it's not only a value creator, it's also a brand creator. Uh, it's also you learn about dealing with people who are very extraordinarily gifted and very highly capable, some of whom may be very temperamental. So you learn how to deal with that kind of people, which is very different to a corporate breed, if I may use that word.
So running a sports team is different from running a business. So as an owner of a team, what role can you really play in order to ensure maybe a IPL trophy?
Eventually, it's up to the coach, mentor, captain, and the team to deliver, right? But as an owner, you can make sure that you're getting the right team. So at the auctions,
Yeah.
getting the right team is very important. Then motivating them to perform and giving them the confidence that you're going to back them is also equally important. But the owner's role is significantly limited once the team is selected, because then you have professionals, qualified professionals, who are actually doing the job for you.
Is there something that you have learned from a team like CSK or Mumbai Indians, which have repeatedly won IPL titles? Has there been some key learning as an owner that can help you improve your chances of winning an IPL trophy?
Well, I think they're two completely different models, both immensely successful. I think Neeta Ambani is a role model for any and every franchise or sport owner. Her knowledge of the game, her involvement in the sport, her knowledge about grassroots talent, her knowledge about venues, about strategy is just incredible. Chennai, it's been a question of them having the right team, and then you have a brilliant mind like Dhoni who leads it. If not as captain in the recent past, but then practically leads it in in spirit, in form, in everything. You see somebody like a Rohit Sharma, the way he motivates his players, डांटता भी है, पुचकारता भी है. So it's about how, in a way, you are able to be an effective leader, which is not always about being a popular leader. So I think they've both done a great job. We are nowhere near there, but we're certainly trying to learn from them.
So in your experience, what is that one lesson that no business school can teach you, but you can only learn while on the job?
Believe in yourself. Firmly, squarely, trust your instincts and back them.
I've always wondered that in your both professional and personal life, have you ever defined success? And what does it really mean to you?
For me personally, success is defined by what is the state of happiness that one is in, which is a factor of children being happy, wife being happy, if there are parents, parents being happy. I think that's the biggest barometer, really. That are you yourself content, happy, satisfied? And are you radiating that sense of comfort and security to your family? In terms of business, it's about how you have grown relative to others. And again, have you done everything that you could have done? Have you grown to the fullest that you could have grown? It doesn't always happen. But I think that is the measure of success.
Do you think the last 45 years of your professional life is what you would define your career with? Or is the last 13 years, when you had a lot more autonomy with the business decisions you made, to define your success?
Honestly, I hope the next 5 to 10 years would be my defining period.
Wow. My next question is, what is the biggest misconception about you?
I think initially it was that I'm too soft, which I wasn't. And sometimes it is now that I'm too tough, which I am.
That's the paradox of life.
Yeah, so I'm neither too tough, I'm neither too soft.
Have you regretted saying yes to a deal and no to an opportunity? And I know in your case you might have an answer to both, so I want both.
Yes, there have been many regrets. But that's the way it is. It's a process of learning. I am disappointed that I didn't get the Dharma deal. So sometimes it's also a lesson in how much to delegate and at what time to delegate. So too much delegation doesn't necessarily work. That's just an example. There are quite a few that we've passed as a family, as a company, which have not been the best of decisions. Equally well, sometimes you've taken a decision at the right time. For example, investing in Lucknow Super Giants. It was a well thought out decision, of course. But we were sitting around the day before the bids were to be submitted. Shashwat, Shivika, Preeti and myself were sitting around our evening tea. It was a Sunday. And we were discussing, and all the mathematics worked to around between 5,500 and 6,500 crores valuation. So take a median of about, say, 6,000 crores. And it was then that Preeti gave me this thing that why don't you pay that a little more to make it a killer bid where you definitely
guarantee the win.
To guarantee the win. And that is the premium you pay for your passion. So I was like veering around towards doing it. But I was just a little unsure. Maybe by the next morning I may have got sure, but that time I was unsure. But it was Preeti saying this and the family backing it that gave me that confidence.
So is there an opportunity that you regretted saying yes to?
I think my family bought into Remington Rand, which was over a lunch between Mr. Keshav Mahindra and my father. And I think it was just a bad economic decision.
You have spoken about balance of work and life and the amount of time you're able to invest back into the family time. What is your opinion on the much debated 72-hour work week?
This whole concept of work from home on a normal course doesn't vibe with me. So when there was COVID, when there was a fear of infection, yes, certainly. But on a normal course, not really. But at the same time, this X number of hours every day or every week, within boundaries, you need to work. And I would monitor somebody by the results he delivers, rather than by the hours he sits behind his desk not delivering.
In your experience, what is that one aspect about the Indian business culture that you think needs to change given India in 2047?
I don't know whether it's deeply ingrained or not, but being self-deprecating, I think it's high time we started talking about our pluses rather than talking about our minuses.
I have a very interesting question for you. If we had to remove the 200-year-old legacy of the Goenka family, what is that one skill that you would use to build everything from scratch?
Just the ability to reinvent. The family has reinvented every few years. Started off as being traders, then on to bankers, then into jute, tea, textile, then into chemicals, then into automotive tires, then into utilities, then into FMCG, then into sports. It's just the ability to adapt, reskill, and move ahead.
So this is my final question for this podcast. What is that one thing that you did great and you think the next generation can do even better?
What have I done great? Nothing.
I think now you're just being modest.
No, I'm not. I can't think of anything that I would like to single out in terms of. I think I don't get fazed easily. I've had many very adverse and difficult situations in life. I think I'm resilient. So, but is that great by itself? It's just a characteristic. I don't think it's being great.
In your case, with your children and the business, what can they do better from where you have left them at?
You know, Shashwat is better than me in most of the things. He just lacks the experience. So I think I'm hoping, praying, and I'm confident that he'll be better than me in almost everything.
Wow. Oh, that's really wonderful to hear coming from a father about his son.
And to my mind, a very factual and unbiased assessment of my son.
Thank you so much for coming, Dr. Goenka, to Perspective with Parthiv and sharing your views. I have personally looked forward to this interaction. And as I have in so many other times that I've got the opportunity to meet you, you fill me with knowledge, you fill me with inspiration, and I'm excited to bring this to this show and share with all our viewers.
Thank you, Parthiv. It's, as I said when we started off, I can't say a no to you.
Thank you. So that was Sanjiv Goenka, and I'm glad he was able to share his perspective on my show. So here are the top 5 lessons that I learned from this interaction. First, freedom creates room for unconventional success. In the last 13 years, with the formation of the Sanjiv Goenka Group, Dr. Sanjiv Goenka had the autonomy and the liberty to invest in highly risky projects, the projects that he believed to create immense value, and it has for him. Second, don't wait for passion. Passion follows ownership. It is important for an entrepreneur not to be driven solely by passion, but also understanding the importance of how to operate those businesses and the opportunities presented in making those businesses viable. Third, sports teaches leadership better than any boardroom. In Dr. Sanjiv Goenka's experience running the IPL team, sports has shaped his leadership lens, the ability to pull back from desperation, motivate under pressure, and balance firmness with affection. Fourth, work backwards from value, not forward from ambition. Rather than growing impulsively, he invests time studying sectors and multiple businesses in order to understand its opportunities and changing market dynamics. It's very important to be up to date with the current market situation in any business and not let only ambition drive your growth. And finally, fifth, one of the most important characteristics for a leader is resilience. From all ups and downs, from changing market dynamics, from changing market situations, it's very important to remain resilient in order to be successful.